So hi, this is DP Mavia. I'm in the midst of a study for a class that I've been holding for the last 2.5 years or 3 years. It's called the Mini Money Masterclass. The Mini Money Masterclass. So while I was in the middle of preparing that class, I was reading an excerpt from a book by a man called James Clear. And James Clear was talking about habits. And the book is called Atomic Habits. So James Clear was talking about habits. And one of the things James Clear said is, you don't say, I want to be this kind of writer, or I want to be a writer. You begin creating habits that produce a kind of writer, or you create habits that produce a kind of sportsman, or you produce habits that make you make some kind of wealth. So he was talking about money comes by particular money habits. So he says we get and gain things we have created habits around. We get and gain things we have created habits around, so that some of the things we get naturally are most likely because of conscious or unconscious habits we have made around those things. So in the midst of that, I began to think about this mini money masterclass with respect to habits around money. I was sort of like checking myself and asking, are there any forms of habits that I have created around finances, around wealth, around money? And as usual, sometimes I go into my own daydreams. I sit down, think through things, meditate, just to find ways of setting particular kinds of thinking around the things I do. So I just want to share with you some of the things that came out of that kind of thinking. And this, I think, should act as a teaser to a class that I've been creating called The Core of Kingdom Economics. Yeah, The Core of Kingdom Economics. So that's what I've been preparing for, like a one-day full workshop, The Core of Kingdom Economics. But this is a sidebar that points towards some of the things we'll be picking from that direction. So I got thinking, asking myself, what kind of mindsets would be needed for proper, consistent, and concrete wealth creation? And the two things that came to my mind is the first one is the mindset to create, and secondly is the mindset to manage the created wealth. So there's a mindset to create wealth, and then there's a mindset to manage the created wealth. And one of the things I was doing as I observe, as I think through the mindset to create or the mindset to manage wealth, is that most people have one of this, and very few people have both of them. Most people have either you have the mindset or the habits of wealth management, and some have the mindset of wealth creation. In fact, out of these mindsets, habits can be created. You can create habits around wealth management, and you can create habits around wealth creation. And so these are some of the things that were just coming through my head. In fact, I'm just reading through my notes. Out of these mindsets, habits can be created dependent on the avenue of the creation of money. And when I say the avenue of the creation of money, I'll go there in a short while. So one of the things you have to understand about a mindset for wealth creation, a mindset for wealth management, is for wealth to be created, one needs to have a foundational understanding of value. A foundational understanding of value. And I'm just cruising through this because I can sit down and talk about value for some time. So you have to have a foundational understanding of value, either creation of value, production of value, or dispensing of value. So you have to understand the foundational understanding of value. Value is more a way of seeing before it is a way of doing. Value is a way of seeing, perception, before is a way of doing. Value requires a certain way of sharpening the senses of seeing things or seeing opportunities, as opposed to just doing opportunities. You see before you do. So generally, in the world of finance, value is created and exchanged through particular avenues. Value is created and exchanged through particular avenues. And the first avenue of exchange or creation of value is employment. So there are people who create wealth or make wealth by employment. I know very many people just love dashing to entrepreneurship, but at least I have managed to crystallize 3 expressions or avenues of wealth creation based on understanding of value. Number 1, through employment. You work somewhere, you produce a sense of value, and you are compensated for it. And then the second one, the entrepreneurship. You create a service or a product based on a foundational understanding of value. You sell it or create a market for it, and you are compensated or you are paid for it. And then the third one, which is not very common, through inheritance. If you have a great-grandfather or you have an uncle somewhere who believes there is value in his lineage, and he decides a portion of what he has created down the line, he'll pass it to you. So there's employment, there's entrepreneurship, there's inheritance. Avenues of creation of value or money, if you want to say it, if you want to go that direction. So the mind to create wealth through employment is different, obviously, from the mindset of entrepreneurship. But the baseline between these two is value, which is creation of it and management of it. Creation of value and management of value produces wealth. So some are rich through creation of wealth, and others are rich through management of wealth. And it's possible for somebody to be able to create wealth and then employ people to manage it. It's possible for somebody to create wealth, then employ people to manage it. There are also businesses that have been started around money management. There are people most likely who create their money by managing money, or they create wealth by managing already created wealth. For example, banks are money managers. Stockbrokers are money managers. Insurance companies, in some way or another, are money managers. And even VC funds, companies, are money managers. So you can see where I was coming from. I came from a direction where value is foundational to wealth creation. Avenues of wealth creation require for somebody to have the mindset of creating or managing. The avenues of wealth creation actually are employment, entrepreneurship, and inheritance. And therefore, you have to understand there are businesses that manage wealth, banks, insurance companies, stockbrokers, and there are businesses that create wealth. The Microsofts of the world, or your business where you are, some of you are creating products or services as entrepreneurs, and because of that, you are dispatching that product or service to a market space that requires for people to exchange money with you. So that is where I'm coming from. And one of the things that it leads to then is I began to contemplating and ask myself, okay, so what is poverty then? And my definition of poverty is when you are unable to harness and use these two basic money mindsets. When you are unable to harness and use these two basic money mindset of creation and management. If you are in some way or another not skilled in creation or not skilled in managing of wealth, then you have been bound by the stronghold of poverty. Poverty is when somebody is not able to see the potential they have to create wealth. Poverty is when somebody is unable to see the potential they have to manage wealth. So when those two mindsets are elusive in a human being, then he is held in bondage by the spirit of poverty. He's held in bondage by the spirit of poverty. So these are just things I was thinking about the other day, and I think that things already most of you are aware. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18, it says, I'll therefore give you power to create wealth. He says he shall give them power to create wealth. And in the mini money masterclass, we go through the entire chapter. So it's verse 18 of Deuteronomy chapter 8 is arrived at. We don't begin from verse 18. We arrive at it from verse 1 to 17. But I just want to pick that element of power to create wealth and demystify it. There is a Hebraic understanding of what it means to have power to create wealth. The definition of that word power there is very different from how we see it in the Anglo-Saxon way of defining it. But to make it easy and demystify it for most of us, when you see power to create wealth, I want to classify at least 1, 2, 3, 4 expressions that give you power. 4 expressions that give you power, and they can be tied to the creation of wealth. Number 1, the first expression of power is ideas. The second expression of power is skills. The third expression of power is calling. And the fourth expression of power is gifts. So when God says, I have tooled you and I have equipped you with power to create wealth, think around those 4 things. Ideas, skills, calling, and gifts. Now, you have to understand this quadrant of ideas, skills, calling, and gifts operates in the context of another thing you can call a resource, and it's called time. Ideas, skills, calling, and gifts make sense in something called what? Time. So why do you need time to tie yourself around ideas, skills, callings, and gifts? You need time, number 1, so that you're able to learn. Number 2, you need time so that you're able to practice. And practice produces growth, so you can grow. Time is important for understanding the principles of wealth creation. And time eventually then, once you have learned ideas, skills, calling, and gifts, you have sharpened or tooled yourself to be able to see. Remember, I began by telling you that it's a skill more of seeing than doing. You begin to see opportunities, and therefore you're able to meet your skills, ideas, callings, and gifts into opportunities. So sometimes it's not that opportunities are hiding. Sometimes it's that people are not skilled to awaken the eye to be able to connect their ideas to their skills, to their calling, to their gifts, and create and fulfill opportunities that come their way. When these things are put together, opportunities will be very easy to be able to be visible. And then you have some things. I normally have something, a triad of calling, gift, and skills. And in calling, gift, and skills, say God created you with a call, then he wired to the call gifts, and then he wired to the gifts skills. So the skills unpack the gift, and the gift unpack the call. The call is the purpose, the vision, the why of who you are here on the earth. And then you are gifted to unpack those things. And then you are skilled to enforce those things into things that are consumable. It's possible for somebody to be gifted and not skilled. You can be a gifted person but not skilled. Let me just put it at that. Let me just stop there. Let me not go deeper into that. But the thing is this. Let me just see if I can unpack for you calling, gifts, and skills. God can call you to minister and bring hope to children. God can call you and give you the purpose or the mandate to minister hope to children. And then he can give you the gift of music, which means you just love music, you ooze with music. Maybe you even have a good voice. So he can say, I have attached to this calling the gift of music, so that you can use music to produce that hope for children. But you need to be skilled so that you can draw out that gift. Just because you are anointed and gifted, you need to be skilled so that you can draw out that gift. In fact, so you need to learn how to write music. You need to learn how to listen to music. You need to learn how to maybe play an instrument of sorts. All those things you need to learn are around the element of skill sets. There are people who have a very good tune in their heart, gifted to produce, gifted to identify music, but they don't have the skill set to draw it out of themselves. So sometimes you go to a skilled producer who gives you a track, then you write your music. But sometimes I normally tell everybody who has a gift of music to learn an instrument or two, so that they can be able to bring out the music they are hearing. So most gifted people around music have the gift of hearing it, but not every one of them is skilled to draw it out. You need to learn how to sing, to do voice. You need to learn how to write music. All those things are skills. So the gift can be present, but it has to be unpacked by the skills. It can be present, but it has to be unpacked by skills. God can call me to the world of business and give me a gift of writing so that I express my ideas into the business world through writing. So I have a gift to communicate, but I need a skill. I need to practice daily. I need to time the discipline of drawing out these concepts that are coming by the gift of communication through writing, or it can be a gift to communicate through speaking. So I need to use the skill to unpack the gift and then use the gift to unpack the call. I hope that makes sense. So Mini Money Masterclass is going to be coming. I'm going to be talking about some of these things in that class, but today I just thought, let me throw out there a teaser to explain some of the things I've been drafting as far as my notes are concerned. We need to have a creation mindset for finance. We need to have a management mindset for finance. Fundamentally, the biggest skill that supports creation of wealth and management of wealth is understanding value. And the avenues by which these things are expressed is through employment, entrepreneurship, and inheritance. And then the power to create wealth, you need to understand that God ties it around ideas, skills, calling, and gifts. And He has put us in the context of time for us to be able to practice, to learn, to grow, and to understand so that we may be able to harness and capture opportunities. Understand and remember that people who do not have enough resource, or people who are not resourced enough, or people who do not understand the potential they have to create and manage money are the ones who are bound by the spirit of poverty. So those are some of the things I'm just throwing out there for you to understand. It's a fun class, I believe, and I just wanted to give you sort of like a money teaser so that you can be able to see what we are going to be facing in the days to come. So Mini Money Masterclass. I've done it 3 times now. So I want to redo it again. But before that, this is a precursor to the full day workshop called The Core of Kingdom Economics. The Core of Kingdom Economics. A full day workshop that is coming shortly. If you're interested in that, then you can shoot me an email. Shoot me an email on the deep business as one word, thedeepbusiness@gmail.com. thedeepbusiness@gmail.com, and in your subject write the core of kingdom economics, the core of kingdom economics, TCOKE, the core of kingdom economics workshop, full day workshop, so that you can be tooled, so you can be given information on what is going to come and where we're going to meet. I think I have space for about 10 people, 5 to 10 people. And we're still trying just to identify the costings, and then we'll communicate to those who are interested. So this is DP Mavia, trying just to throw out there so that you can be able to understand some of the things I've been contemplating based on the money class. These are some of the things we've been doing in our discipleship effort, especially in this day and age when people are at home or trying to revive their businesses and create wealth in these times. Yeah, so God bless you so much. See you. Thank you for being with me.